Hey everybody, welcome to first instructional video for SimpleDIM, a PowerPoint plugin where you can create accurate and dimension drawings and diagrams in PowerPoint. So the first thing we're going to learn how to do today is how to set scale in slides. Now, setting scale is important because that's what drives all the rest of the dimensions and measurements on your slide. So you can set your scale to different types of units and different lengths, and then as you do your drawings and dimensions, then everything will be correctly proportioned on the slide. So how do we do that? Well, SimpleDIM provides two ways to set scales on your lines. The first, once you've installed the plugin, is to go up to your menu, go up to your ribbon, click on the SimpleDIM text to drop down your ribbon menu, and then you're going to go to the Scale submenu and hit Set Scale. Now you'll notice when you mouse over the button, it says, helpfully, set the scale for dimension lines. For example, 1 PowerPoint inch equals 10 inches. So you actually have a lot of options with how you set your scale. If you click the button, you'll notice that it brings up the dialog where you can enter your scale of 1 slide inch equals X units. You're going to put X in this text box over here. For our example, we're going to say that 1 inch is 150, and then you can select the units that you want to be in. In this case, we're going to go ahead and say it's equal to 150 feet. So I select the feet in the drop-down. Now the units and the scale are important because later when you apply your dimensions, those are the units in the scale that you'll get your dimensions and your drawing figures in. So you can change it later, but this is how you set it. I'm going to click OK. I will get the confirming dialog saying the scale is set to 1 PowerPoint inch. And a PowerPoint inch is, when you look at the rulers across the top or to the side of your slides, that's the inch equivalent on your slide. So 1 inch on that ruler equals 150 feet in our example. I click OK, and now my scale is set. So if I go back to my menu and I say I want a dimension line, say I create my linear dimension line, and the default is at 208 feet because it's so many inches on my ruler, but I can move that over. I can see that length is 646 feet, or if I move it back to 1 inch, then apparently just shy of 1 inch, then I get my 152 feet. You can see that it's quite close to the ruler inch up in your PowerPoint ruler. So that is how you set your scale. And then once you have that drawn, then you can do other things. You can use your line commands, your rectangle commands, or your arrays, and that's the scale that those items will adhere to. The other thing about scale is that the scales are persistent in SimpleDIM at the slide level. So you can set one scale for one slide and another scale for another slide, and it will stick. The second method of setting a scale is setting a scale from a line. Let's say you have a drawing or a figure with a known dimension on it. In this case, we have a screenshot of a Google Maps excerpt, and we see in the bottom right there's a scale that says that that length of line is 500 feet. So now I can take another line that I've drawn, just a regular line shape, and I know that once I place it, that's pretty close to 500 feet. Or pretty close to that line dimension. Maybe I zoom in a little bit to get it closer. But then I select that line, I go up to my SimpleDIM ribbon, and I click the Set Scale from Line command. And I can see here that I want the real world length to correspond to what this represents in the real world, in this case 500 feet. And I click OK. And now on this slide, this dimension is set to that scale. So if I come up again to my linear dimension, I get a different scale bar, and I can measure, for example, the distance from this 136th Street roundabout to this other 136th Street roundabout. It's just short of a mile, or 5,171 feet by that measurement. So that's how you set your scale, and that's how you use it in SimpleDIM. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and good luck.